Koppel, host of the Time for Coffee podcast, where you get firsthand career advice into the jobs and industries that interest you the most. And before we start today's show, I have a quick favor to ask you. If you haven't already, I'd be incredibly grateful if you give us a rating and a review on iTunes. And if you're like me, you need to do it now because you'll forget later and because it's the best way to help others who may be in search of career advice to find this free resource. So press pause if you haven't done it and do it right now. I'll wait. Thanks so much and enjoy today's show. Hey there, Java Junkies. Welcome to another K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. By the way, K-Cups come in 3 sizes, single, double, and triple shots, or roughly 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length. So if you don't have time to throw back an entire caffeinated career conversation, these K-Cup mini episodes of T4C can give you a quick caffeinated fix, whether you're on the go or you only have a few minutes to binge. So grab your mug and take a chug, because it's time for a caffeinated career double shot K-Cup with my guest, Dominique Henderson. Dom, what is the best financial advice that you can offer our young listeners, those who may not want to go into financial services? How can they get off on the right financial foot while they're still in school and then post-grad?
2 principles, very, very, very old principles. I mean, even going back to biblical times, but a more popular read might be Richest Man in Babylon, George Clason, I believe. So, and if you take away all the stuff that's out of that book and I give you just a couple of nuggets, the first is live beneath your means. I think his proverbs are like to save 10%. That's probably where it starts. That's a bare minimum. So live beneath your means and start investing early. Sir John Templeton has a saying, I don't know if it's a direct quote, but it's connotated as it's not market timing, but time in the market. So, right, as long as you can have these doubling periods, little simple math, rule of 72 or rule of 70, take your return, divide it into 70. That's how quickly your money doubles. So you figure a 10% return, which is the stock market has averaged for the last 100 years or so. Your money doubles every 7 years, right? So the same 65-year-old and 25-year-old are getting the same return. But the 65-year-old doesn't have as many doubles left as the 25-year-old. So starting early is a big thing. And you can make up so much ground by just starting early. So live beneath your means, start investing early.
What is an unexpected piece of advice, Dom, that you could offer those of our young listeners who may be struggling with their finances right now? Clearly, so many of our young people are dealing with massive school debt. They may have a car loan on top of it. What unexpected piece of advice would you offer them?
This is going to be maybe out of left field and somewhat controversial, but as I kind of look, so context is I've been married 24 years. I have 3 adult children, the youngest of 19, the middle boy, 22. I would say the traditional go to college, get a job may not be right for you. You might want to think about that coming out of high school or even in your first year of college. I don't know how many of them allow you to go undeclared or undecided anymore or liberal arts, but maybe even 2 years of associates or your junior college as you kind of decide what do you want to do. Because, you know, you think about the fact that I think I did my whole college career. I had a full scholarship, but I think the all-in cost was under 20 grand for all 4 years, somewhere around there. And that's a historically Black college and university. So it's state school, not this big tuition and all that kind of stuff. I've sent my children there for a couple semesters and it's $25,000 a year. So 98, 2020, you know, you can do the math. It's 22 years. That is incredible rate of inflation. And you figure the stock market's doubling, all the stuff I just said, 10%. That's almost the rate of inflation that the stock market's getting. So all this to say, education is expensive. And you can't really afford to make too many wrong turns in regards to, oh, I'm changing my major to this, I'm changing my major to that, and you're taking out loans. But mean, next thing you know, you're going to be 6 figures in debt and you haven't even started a job yet. So I think choose wisely would be my advice there.
What is the biggest financial mistake that you see young people make the most?
Oh, by far, it's related to the last two, is living beyond their means. So typically the way you make up for being in debt is to tighten your belt or sacrifice once you have that awakening moment, or start making more money, but don't up your lifestyle with your increase. It's just math. So when you start thinking about money mistakes, they really all boil down to you overspending.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Thanks for tuning in to this K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. If you want to listen to our entire caffeinated career conversation, please check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to this latest episode of T4C. And if you're interested in learning more about my coaching services for confused college students and recent grads, feel free to check out the Time for Coffee website under the coaching tab at time4coffee.org or text me at 202-236-5712. That's 202-236-5712.